Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, this is going to be a fun episode for me. So the topic is the Max Verstappen and versus Lewis Hamilton the best rivalry in sports right now? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you go ahead and check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community place we created where you can go and talk about sports, basketball, racing, whatever it is. There you can chat live during games and so many other cool things. If you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out. We had that linked in the description below. And also make sure you go ahead and click the join button to join the channel to receive loyalty badges. So anyway, let me get into this topic here. So for the people that are on this channel, you guys know that we normally talk about basketball, right? We normally talk about basketball, but I am a huge Formula One fan, And again, they have another match, another race coming up tomorrow that I will be watching, right? I tried my best not to miss any of these matches. I'm a huge Formula One fan, and I got into the sport probably 6 or 7 years ago. I don't remember when, but it's been a while now. It's been at least 5 years that I got into the sport. Now, first of all, the first reason I got into Formula One is, number one, I love cars. I love cars, but specifically, I love fast cars. I don't like trucks and Jeeps and all of that. I like fast cars. My favorite car maker, this goes back to when I was living in Italy, when I went to college there, is Ferrari. Okay, let's not get it twisted. I think Ferrari makes the best sports cars in the world. I think they make the best looking sports cars. I think the only other company that makes sports cars that look as good as Ferraris, I would have to say, is Aston Martin. I think these are the two. If we're looking at just beautiful cars to look at, I think Aston Martin and Ferrari make the most beautiful looking cars. And then, of course, you have the elegant companies like Bentley and Rolls-Royce. But if we're talking about sports cars that look gorgeous, I think Ferrari and Aston Martin at the top of the shelf. My favorite car model from Ferrari is the 812 Superfast. But originally, when I first fell in love with the company, it was the the Super America. Then ultimately, I fell in love with the 599 GTB Fiorano, which I was like, man, this car, that was my dream car. And then they moved to the what's the other one? The one that they had in between that, it's the Berlinetta, the F12 Berlinetta, which was just which they said it was like scary fast. And now they have the 812 Superfast, which I think is the most beautiful car in the world right now, in my opinion. The most beautiful coupe. You can bring any coupe that you want. I think this car is the best looking coupe out there. It just in my opinion, right? And we all, car fans, everybody has their own thing. Now, Formula One, right? Formula One is it's a very exciting sport. If you like fast cars, you're going to like Formula One, and it's an aspirational kind of sport because most of the people that watch these races, as either have these cars, maybe these are guys that already have Ferraris and Aston Martins and all of this, or people that are aspiring to have these cars. Is also an aspirational sport, right? It's viewed by hundreds of millions of people yearly, so they have a very big audience out there. But with that being said, the team I do support is Mercedes-Benz. I support Mercedes-Benz as far as the constructors. That's the team that I support. And my favorite driver right now is Lewis Hamilton. Before, it used to be Fernando Alonso when I was supporting Ferrari, but now my favorite driver is Lewis Hamilton, who just recently signed a 2-year extension with Mercedes-Benz worth, well, basically they're going to be paying him about $55 million a year over the next 2 years. And he deserves every penny of it because Formula One, for as glamorous as it is, you see them out there in Monaco and all of these different things, is a very, very dangerous sport. Like, people have lost their lives in this sport. So $55 million makes perfect sense to me because to some extent, these guys are out there risking their life. You saw the crash that they had last season in the Haas car. I forgot the driver's name, which, it was just scary to see what he went through. So that's what he's getting paid. And Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time world champion, which ties him for the most drivers championships, with Michael Schumacher, who some consider to be the greatest Formula One driver in history, right? He got 6 of his championships with Ferrari, right? Which also added to the lore of Ferrari. And for those of you guys who don't follow Formula One, Ferrari is the equivalent of the Lakers to the NBA. They have 16 championships, constructors championships. So if the Lakers are what Ferrari is, what the Lakers and the Celtics are to basketball. They're at the top of the shelf when it comes to racing and in Formula One, and that's really where they got their start. To be quite honest with you, and they're one of the only three. I think they're only three constructors that the guys that are building engines. I think it's Ferrari. I know Honda builds engines. Red Bull doesn't, because Red Bull is using Honda's engines, and Mercedes-Benz. I think Mercedes-Benz builds engines for themselves and for other teams. And I'm not sure if maybe McLaren builds his own engines. I'm not sure. But this year, however, we are witnessing one of the most riveting rivalries in all of sports, and that's between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen, who is a Dutch driver, if I'm not mistaken. He is a Dutch driver. I forgot the country he's from. Yes, he's from Belgium, and he's only 23 years old. Now, Max Verstappen, if I'm not mistaken, is the youngest driver to ever race in a Formula One championship race. He's the youngest ever to ever do anything like that. Now, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes have dominated the sports for the last 5 years. I think they've won the last 5 championships in a row. Before then, it was Red Bull with what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? The German Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull were dominating, and then Mercedes-Benz came and they've just been dominating the sport for the last 5-6 years now. But this season, especially in the off season and going into the season, a lot of people felt that for Red Bull was going to be very competitive this year with Mercedes. They had that feeling, and it looks like from the early season test practices, even Mercedes-Benz, Toto Wolff, and Lewis Hamilton and these guys conceded the fact that this team was going to be very formidable. But little did they know that they were going to be giving Mercedes-Benz a run for their money this season. Right now, as we speak, Max Verstappen is actually leading the Drivers' Championship 156 to 138 in championship points. So right now, he's leading the Drivers' Championship. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Red Bull is also leading the Constructors' Championship. If I check right now, last time I checked, Red Bull Racing Honda, because they're using Honda's engine, has 256 points in the Constructors' Championship to Mercedes-Benz's 212. Like, who would have thought? Now, we knew Red Bull was going to be very, very competitive, but for them to be in the lead so early in the season tells you that this team is going to be very formidable. And last I checked in FP2? I think it's FP2 practices. I think in FP1, I think Hamilton had the fastest time, if I'm not mistaken, or in FP3, I think last time I checked, I think it was Max Verstappen, and I think Bottas is number 2, and I think Hamilton is number 3. So these guys are very competitive. I've also heard that Mercedes-Benz is looking to upgrade their kit going into this weekend to see if they can get more downforce or whatever it is, because I think in the straight line, I think the Red Bulls have more straight line speed than the AMG Mercedes-Benz. But it looks like this guy's giving Hamilton a run for his money, and it's like every race is one or two. Now, the last race that they had, Max Verstappen led from the beginning to end, but the previous race before that, Hamilton was leading, and he caught him out. I think when Max Verstappen caught Hamilton on the last 2 laps. And obviously, I also have to give credit to the team of Red Bull, because their racing strategies right now, they've actually been, out competing Mercedes-Benz. If you look at their in-race strategies, Mercedes-Benz have had some different calls that didn't really go their way. There was obviously one call that they had with Bottas when Bottas told him that, listen, my tires are not going to make it to the end of this race. They're just simply not going to make it. They didn't listen to him, and then he ended up being overtaken by what's the guy's name? The Mexican driver. His name is Sergio Perez. He ended up overtaking him, and he was pissed off. So right now, Valtteri Bottas is actually number 5 in the driver's standing. Right, it's Max Verstappen at number 1, Lewis Hamilton at number 2, and Sergio Perez at number 3. And I think that's the reason right now that Red Bull is actually outperforming Mercedes when it comes to the Constructors' Championship, because of the performance of Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. Usually, Valtteri Bottas was able to complement Lewis Hamilton very well, but this season, for whatever reason, it's not working out that way, and I think he's going to move on next season. And I think they're looking to sign not Pierre Gasly, they're looking to sign George Russell. to Mercedes-Benz next season. So right now it's very, very competitive, but I think that for people that follow racing and follow Formula One right now, if we're talking about, sports, and obviously Formula One is the most technically advanced sport out there, this is the number one rivalry right now in sports this year. I'm sorry to say it is. If we're talking about between two protagonists, this is the number one right here. The Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton Formula One season. This rivalry that they have this season is absolutely riveting. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that this is the most compelling rivalry in sports this season, or do you think it's something else? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, please give me your feedback on how you thought I did in this video, because I think it's our first or second Formula One video. So any feedback that you have that you would like me to have, like as far as improvements or things that you want me to improve on, please let me know in the comment section, because I'm looking for some constructive feedback, given the fact that we've never really covered Formula One. So thank you guys for that, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.